Gone are the days where people wear butt pants, but what's trending now is design pants, whereby people use a different design on pants. And as a designer, it's one of the things that's very important for you is to know how to sew some of these trending style, so that you will not be outdated as a fashion designer. On this video, I'll be taking you through the process of how you can stitch this hidden stripe on the trouser, and then this one that is a little bit visible, where you can get it, how much you can get it, and how you can also sew this logo. I have another tip for you on this video, whereby I would like you to stay till the end of this video so that you don't miss any part of this. So without any further delay, let's get started. The first thing you have to do is to fold this edge like this, to fold the pocket opening like this, and then apply gum stay on it. So you place the pocketing, the material you are using for the pocket, on it like this, and then make sure that it rhyme on the edge, and then you set it at the up here, at this edge, at the upper part. Make sure that it's rhyme here, and then on this folding on this edge, make sure that it's rhyme, and on this folding it can be a little bit longer. So don't forget that the upper part should be slanting, and then when you set the edge like this, you notch it on the pocket opening, and then you use office pen to hold it together. Then you can fold it. Make sure that it's keyed to the edge. Now you stitch it straight down. So when you are done with the stitches, this is the results now after I've already stitches, and then you remove the office pen. You can see that this place is a little bit longer than the material, so the pocket is a little bit higher on that level than the material. So you remove the office pen like this, and then you trim the excess. You open it like this, and then you trim it from inside. Trim this excess, and then you stitch it like this. Now the next thing to do is to apply the facing for the pocket. So you place the facing like this, and then you stitch it round. You can as well use an office pin to hold it, so that it will be very easy for you to stitch it. And that is it. So the next thing to do now is to stitch the stripe on this pocket. So this is the stripe. Now you can get this at the place they are selling a shoemaking material, or the place they are selling a tailoring material. So either of the places you can get it there, and it's sold for like 300 naira per yard. So that is less than $1 per yard. So you place it by the side like this, and then you measure 0.3. So you measure 0.3, so that is to be the distance between the edge and the stripe which we are sewing on this. So you just stitch it straight like this round. And when you are done with the stitches, you place this on it now, and then make sure you set the edge, and the edge is a rhyme, and check the pocket at the bottom. Make sure that it's rhyme at the bottom as well, and then you stitch it like this. Make sure that the edge is a rhyme, and then you stitch it like this. You can see this place as well, that there's a little bit of a excess at the upper part here, so we have to cut it out straight like that. So that is those things are very important, so that the length of the trouser will not short. So you need the thread, and then you stitch it at the upper part here. So the average opening for the pocket is a 2.5, but I'm using a 2 inches for this because this is a small trouser. So you stitch it straight like this, and then you trim out this rough edge at the top. And that is it. So now you can then stitch this place a bit. So that is it. So the next thing to do now is to stitch the pocket itself. Make sure you knit all the thread. You can see that. And this is it. So we have to stitch, when you are joining the back to it now, it have to come on that tip. So you notch this place like this, more than a half inch, like a 0.7, and then you pull it out like this from inside, and then make sure that you set that place which you notch, and then the stitches should start from that point as well. So just stitch it round, and then you trim the excess, turn it back inside, and then you stitch the tip round, stitch the edge round, and that is it. You can see how it came out. So the next thing to do now is to stitch the stripe on the back. So on this stripe we are sewing here now, this is the back. So the stripe we are sewing on the back, the stitches will not show outside. So I have another video on this channel where I take you through the process of how to stitch a stripe on it. So but this is another process entirely. Here now you mark a 1.3. so anyhow you want the stripe to wide, so that is what you mark here. So this is a 1.3. so if you want it to be 1.5, you mark a 1.5. If you want the wideness to be 1 inch, you mark a 1 inch. So you have to mark it all through like this, and then you roll it straight down. So you can as well use a ruler to roll it, or you use a hip cuff to create the cuff by the side. So you roll it like this. So the wideness of this stripe will be 1.3. so if you, whatever you want the wideness to be, that is what you will mark on this back. So and this is the material that I'm using for the back. So this is the material that I'm using for the back. So this is the wrong side of the material. So you have to make it a 3.5, and the length have to be longer than the trouser panel. So that is the back panel of the trouser. So you place it on it like this. So this is the back, and this is the front. So you place the material on it like this, and make sure that it's on the edge which we mark before. So you stitch it with a 0.5. so you stitch it all through with a 0.5. And one thing that's very important here, make sure you are tensioning it so that you don't have any rumple on the material or squeeze on the material. So once you finish it, you press it like this. You first press it the same way we stitch it, and then you open it and press it like this. So this is it after I've already pressed the material. You can see this, how perfectly well it's laid. So you see this now. So you turn it to the back, and then you stitch the edge to hold the two material together. After you have done this, you trim out the excess. cut out all the, even the at the length, you cut out this excess we have at the upper parts and the down parts as well. So the next thing we have to do now is to weave the edge round, both the front and the back. So you have to weave it round. So let me go to the weaving machine now and then come back. So here it is now, after I've already done the weaving, and this is the back. And then the next thing to do now is to stitch the two together. So you lay the back front down like this, and then you place the back on it. So you have to stitch it with a 0.5. So that is very important. So you mark a 0.5 on it, and then you stitch it all through. Or another thing to do is that you can as well mark the width you want on this. So that is a 1.3. So you mark that 1.3 which we marked before. So this is it now. You mark it all through. 1.3. This is it. 1.3, and you stitch on that place which we mark all through. There's one thing that's very important here, so make sure you run through this place. Make sure that it's very close to the pocket here. So that is very important, so that you'll be able to stitch the hidden stripe we saw on the pocket. So you stitch it straight down like this, and then you follow the marking where we did on the back. So you see this, you can see how it is. You can see that it's all this stripe a bit, just a tip of it, and it's straight all through without having any rumple or any skews. So you just iron it at the back like this, and then you open press it also. So let me do that and come back now. So here it is after I've already done the pressing. So you can see the results that we are gradually getting there. So please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and then you click on the subscribe button if you are yet to subscribe to this channel. So the next thing to do now is to stitch the stripe on this side, and then to apply the logo on the trouser. So now let's continue. So you place this thing on it, and then make sure that you set it to the center, and then you stitch it straight down. And one thing that I want to let you know that many people complain about having squeeze by the side of the trouser when they use this material. So I will be telling you what normally causes this later on in the video. So you stitch it straight down like this, and then when you're about to get to the edge, when you're about to get to the bottom line, you cut it, because we have to fix a logo at the bottom line like this. So you can make it 7 inches. So before this line, M line, you can make it 7 inches. So you cut it like this, and then you fold it, and then you stitch it straight down. And one thing that I want to let you know about this stripe material, which is like a Versace, which we are sewing on this, is that it have a different design and a different type. So majorly this thing is used for sewing of a shoe and then bag. So it's normally made of a rubber. So if you want to buy one, make sure you get the one that is made with a cotton or a fabric. So this is it after we have already done the stitches. So the next thing to do now is to press it from the back like this, so that you'll be able to relax. And this is it. You can see how nice and beautiful the results we are getting is. So the next thing to do now is to fix the logo on this spots. So now this is the logo that I'm using for this. So it comes in a different design, different types, and different varieties and different sizes. So this is the one that I'm using for this. You can get this one at the place they are selling shoemaking material or the place they are selling a bag material. So one thing that's important here is that whatever the logo you are using, don't make it wider than the stripe we have on the trouser. And then another thing that you have to use is to open it like this. You open the clip at the back. So that is what we use to hold it, the leather together with it. So you just open it like this, and this thing is sold in a pair, so which means that they sell it in two. So one, it can be used for one side, and the other one will be used for the second side of the trouser. And another thing is that it's sold for like less than $1, so that's about 300 naira, depend on the size. So and you get a leather. So I actually get this leather from one of my friend that is a cobbler, so you can easily get that in your area. So you cut it like this, and then you measure what we have here left is a 1.2. So I have a 1.2 left after I've already done the opening, and then you measure that 1.2 on the leather. So make sure that the leather is not exceeding the stripe on the trouser. So that is also very important. So you cut it like this, and then you place the logo here to get the size of the leather, so that you'll be able to cut the leather on its size. So you give it a shape, any shape you want to give yours. You give it a V shape like this, and then you trim the edge. Now you place the logo on it, and then you press it on the leather, so that the clip at the back will be able to reflect on the leather, and you'll be able to can now punch it. So make sure that you are not using something that is too wide, that will make it too wide, because if the hole is too wide, the logo will not key very well on the leather. So you can use a nail to punch it like this. Once you are done with that, you can now insert the logo, and then you open it at the back. Open it again, and then you press it very well. You can see it. So that is it. So one of the things I want to tell you now is I want to give you another tip, so that when you want to stitch it, it will be very easy to sew on the machine. So you have to lose the presser foot of the machine to make it easy when you want to stitch it, and then you also apply machine oil on it, so that the machine will be able to move on the leather while you are stitching it. So you place it at the place like this, and then you can also use a invisible zipper foot, so that it will be easy to stay on the leather, and then you'll be able to stitch it easily. So make sure you take your time to do this, so that you achieve a good result at the end. So you stitch it all around like this. And that is it. So here it's the result of what we have been doing. So you can use the pieces to clean the oil, and that is it. You can see how nice the logo really come out. So this is nice. So please, if you derive value in this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and then if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. And then if you want to join a training on how to sew a ready-made trouser with a lining, belt extension, how to stitch the wet pocket, and a whole lot more. So check the link in the description box. So thank you, and bye for now.